I've got some news for you dudes. I may possibly have a new machine coming to the shop tomorrow. I'm pretty stoked about this. I've been wanting this for a while. Today, basically like a lot of homeowners that do their own property, I let my property go in the summer because I was busy building a business. Just to go off a tangent real quick, use compressed air on everything. Absolutely everything. Blow out your air filters with compressed air, blow out your radiators with compressed air, blow out your door hinges with compressed air, your window seals with compressed air. So, long time ago, like 2008, 2009, I had this idea for a maintenance company, and it was, I wanted to have a quieter maintenance company. I wanted to get away from two-stroke fuels. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. Two-stroke fuels were difficult for guys to mix. They got messy. We lost a couple of machines because people didn't mix the fuel properly. We had a bunch of issues with it. And I thought, wouldn't it be sweet if we could roll like electric equipment and have electric equipment and maybe even do like apartment complexes, things like that, maybe even on weekends, but not disturb residences because it was, it'd be a quieter form of operation. So this weekend I tried it with my backyard, and I used a generator to, like a quiet Honda generator. I got 2 new Jennies, and I ran this generator, ran an extension cord. The extension cord was a pain in the butt, but I ran all electric attachments to clean up my backyard. And it was, once I had like everything kind of like set up, it was really fast to get the backyard of my house like just under control. It's kind of like at the end of the season, I just want to cut everything back. Like I want to cut back my bushes, cut back trees. I want to, just get everything cut back. I'm going to remulch everything. As you know, we don't get snow here in Florida. Get everything fertilized before I mulch. Get everything rounded up before I mulch. Get it back, so I can enjoy my yard this season. But it got me thinking, and it got me interested in this new purchase I have coming tomorrow. But I want you to think outside of the box when it comes to your business. I want you to think about the preconceived notions that have been planted in your mind, either through family, through friends, through negative experiences, through your own limiting beliefs. And I want you to think about like why something can't be done. Because a lot of people aren't doing freaking anything, right? I would love a Bobcat excavator. Actually, I talked to Caterpillar about electric equipment. I'm a huge fan of electric equipment. I really do think that electric really is the future. I think hydraulic is interesting. I think hydraulics are very, very interesting. Like whenever I see chainsaws and I'm like, how come these aren't hooked up to hydraulic cords and just running on a 20 horsepower engine? You know what I mean? And maybe in a Kubota side-by-side. I don't know. Like why is it not doing that? Post hole diggers, why aren't they like hydraulic? Why is everything not just like running on hydraulics? All off the same engine, but, like multiple attachments. And so I just look at things like that, and I wonder why things aren't developing in the way that they should be developing, or just why people don't try these things. And a lot of it has to do with what I believe limiting beliefs or like negative experiences. And it's really difficult to find your own personal limiting beliefs. They're not obvious. Like they're obvious once you see them. Hydraulic chainsaws, 100% all the way. I think two-stroke chainsaws are ridiculous. Electric, maybe, but like hydraulic chainsaws for a fact. It's just a chain that spins. That's all you're trying to do when it comes to a chainsaw. You're trying to spin a chain. That's the goal. Spin the chain faster with more power every single year and keep on improving it, and that's all you're trying to do. So why it's not on an aluminum pole with a big nasty sharp chain on it with a ton of hydraulic flow going through it, I don't know, because it sounds pretty damn reliable to me. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of big massive tree companies, like guys will do like power line utility type of stuff, they'll be running hydraulic, like dedicated hydraulic chainsaws. But like, because I do love the future talks, because the younger guys are kind of where this stuff is for. Like you guys are like the audience, And like the piece of tech that I have coming tomorrow is something I've been looking at for a while. I've evaluated all the different options out there. And I was like, this is what I want because it's a good platform to build off of. But like with these forestry mowing machines that I'm working on right now, like OG Cat, a couple other things, like OG Cat did work today, like straight up burned work today, like ate up land. And like everyone, like, all the big time land guys are like, oh, it's such a small little bobcat kitty. But it's like, bro, it runs head to head with your crap. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it's just as fast as your crap, and it's just as reliable as your crap, and it gets the job done. But the thing is that for the guys that are willing to, especially in each individual town, for the guys that are willing to go just a little bit outside the box or just freaking outside the box, right? Like, how difficult would it really be? Like, would it really be to have all electric equipment inside of your enclosed trailer? Like, would it really be that hard? Couldn't you just plug it in to your truck battery so that way you got all your chargers? And yeah, you got a bunch of batteries and you're playing with all these batteries. But wouldn't you be like the only dude on YouTube that's running a straight up electric lawn company? Or just the only guy in your town? Or the only guy that's getting written up in papers? Or the only guy that's getting free press? Just because you were like the first guy to do it. Eventually, everybody's going to have electric equipment. That's just what it is. Electricity is more efficient. It's cheaper. It's better, it's quieter, it's cleaner, it lasts longer, there's less problems. It's ultimately going to win. It's called being on, I think this is a Kennedy quote, but I can't confirm it, but it's called being on the right side of history. So whenever you sit there and you see events unfolding in front of you, it's really important that you're on the right side of history. It's like being in the 60s and seeing a colored water fountain and seeing a whites-only water fountain and being the guy that's like, yeah, I go to the whites-only water fountain. That's the wrong side of history, bro. Like, if you can look forward like 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future, you're clearly on the wrong side of history. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to building your own business, when it comes to building a service-oriented business, it's important that you're on the right side of history in what you're building. It's also a really easy way for someone who is smaller, unnoticed, not being paid attention to. It's like dyeing your hair purple. Out of nowhere, everyone in school is going to know what's up. But if you're like the guy that figures out, okay, we're running electric blowers. Blowers are obnoxious. They're so damn loud. Beautiful evening a couple weeks ago. I get done. I fire up my freaking Steel backpack blower 600, which is a badass backpack blower. Everybody that runs Steels, you know that Steel's the only backpack blower. All these guys are talking about echoes and cut and clean. They just don't know what they're talking about. Because Steel, it's German. It's the only thing you want to be running. Unless you're running Red Max. That's my opinion. I love my echoes. I got a couple OG Echoes. I have some 10-year-old Echoes. But like, dude, I just got a 700 Steel, I got a 600 Steel, and I got a Red Max, and they're freaking legit. And everybody understands that they're legit. But the point is, they're also obnoxious. They're super obnoxious. They're, the Steel backpack blowers are really a great product. But, and I'm not just saying electric. What if you're the guy that runs your crap on biodiesel? What if you're the guy that runs your stuff on propane? Now, other guys are running their stuff on propane, but you can convert almost anything to propane. But the point is that if you look at the costs of your business, the biggest costs are going to be labor, energy, and then everything else. So if you can solve your labor number one, that's what I call your lead domino. If you can figure out a way to reduce your labor, make your labor more efficient, get rid of your labor altogether, if you think about different ways that you can be crafty, that you can be different, that you can be the guy with purple hair in your business. And like when I was younger and I was like 16, it was like 2003, 2005, I was building my first lawn business. The first guy in my town that wrapped his truck, and I'm talking wrapped it, and it was expensive back then. It was like $7,000 to wrap a truck. He wrapped that thing with all sorts of crazy decals. The business was huge. He had 12 trucks like 3 years later. The business was huge. The first guy that came out was also the brother of the same guy that wrapped the truck first. The guy that came out with diamond cut out like yard signs, and every time he left the lawn, he left can't talk tonight, guys. My bad. A yard sign. And a lot of people are like, well, some of my neighborhoods won't allow me to do that. If you spray a herbicide, if you spray a pesticide, if you put down a fertilizer product, guess what? The laws in your state will definitely mandate that you put a damn sign in that yard. Most guys don't do it, but the laws are on your side. So you can definitely put your logo right in that lawn, because legally, as long as you got the law printed out in your truck, you get an issue, someone's like, oh, you can't do that in our neighborhood. You're like, listen, girl, here's a state statute. It is what it is. This is the state of Georgia. It's not my problem. It's the state of Florida. It's whoever. It's not me. It's just the state. I'm being compliant. I hate to break it to you, but that's what it is. So if you come out with the first thing, and those were super easy, low-hanging fruits. Like, it was pretty easy to wrap a truck. It was pretty easy to put a yard sign in a deal. Snow stakes, absolutely, dude. Like, be the first guy that comes out and take something from another industry or from another sector of your industry and just steal it. Like, just copy the hell out of it, because it's, like, going to benefit you fine. It's not going to hurt anybody. Just copy the hell out of it. But, like, wrap the dingo, paint the dingo up, whatever. Maybe, like, some guy out there run electric equipment. Somebody freaking do it. I was running a generator in my yard yesterday. It was awesome. If I had a skid, which we're building this skid this week, the skid will have a generator on it. It will have a pull cord electric, so it'll be pulling in and out. And then whenever we need to run any daddy electric attachment, like no battery powered, nothing, like daddy electric, it's always cheaper to run it. Like if I want a hedge trimmer, if I want even a chainsaw, if I want, like they're very, very inexpensive. They don't have any maintenance costs to them. I had a grinder today on my truck. I had a generator on my truck. And I had to grind off a fence that I had sucked up into the forestry mower. And like I just grinded that bad bear off because I had like legit daddy electric power. And I didn't have to pull chainsaw anything. I didn't have to wire snip anything. It was just like turn on the generator. It was quiet. And it was wah, wah, wah. But the point is think outside the box. Don't let that just be like a phrase you hear and it just rolls off your back. You don't hear about, you don't really take it in. But like legitimately look at the industry. Look at the way that people do things and asking, why the hell do you do things? And I'm going to share with you guys one quick story before I head off. And it was by Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey was talking about cooking ham. And he asked his wife, he's like, why do you cut the ends off of the ham? And she's like, I don't know. My mother cut the ends off of the ham. I cut the ends off of the ham. There's probably a reason for it, right? So he went to her mother, who is still alive, and he asked the grandmother, and he's like, hey, why do you cut the ends off of the ham? And she says, well, when I was younger, we were growing up in the Great Depression, and we had a pot. Like, we had a pot. And so the hams didn't fit in the pot. So we used to just cut the ends of the ham off, so that way, everything would fit in the pot. So Dave's like, so what you're trying to tell me is every time we've been cooking a ham, we've been cutting 20, 30% of that ham off simply because, 80 years ago, you all didn't have a pot big enough to cook hams. And the grandmother was like, yeah, that's why that's why my daughter, your wife, is cutting the ends off of the ham. And he's like, nobody questioned it. You know what I mean? Nobody was like, hey, why are you cutting the ends off the ham? And so when you look at the lawn and landscape space, you look at contracting in general, and you go, why do people do it like this? Like, why do people do net 30s? It clearly doesn't work. It doesn't work. You bill someone at the end of the month for a job that you started on the 1st. Doesn't work. That's stupid. Like, billing them every week, that doesn't work either. That's tactful. Putting them on a credit card, that seems to work. Putting them on prepay at a discount, that works. But like, why do you do certain things? Why do you bill someone at, June 1st for May's bill and then get paid June 15th? Why are you getting paid 45 days later from the day you started mowing the lawn for the month? You see what I'm saying? Why? And so it's important to question why the hell these things happen, and then understand that just because everyone else is doing it does not freaking matter, right? Like, everyone else is doing this or doing that or whatever, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, because no one cares what everyone else is doing. Like, I guess everyone cares what everyone else is doing, but you shouldn't give a shit what everyone else is doing. You should just be concerned with what you are doing and what you got going on, and you should be trying to friggin' work on something that's a little bit unique, a little bit different,